Not connecting.
Hey guys.
Hi everyone.
Welcome to our very first Facebook Live.
We did it. We made it. We're Facebook Live.
I know. We've been talking about doing this for so long, and with
We're doing
our
it.
lovely friends at Penguin Random House who are sitting here with us, we have finally gotten it together. And so thanks for joining us. And
If you don't know us, I'm Laura Keogh.
And I'm Carrie Marsh.
And we're the Sweet Potato Chronicles. And we're here to talk about our latest cookbook, the School Year Survival Cookbook.
We've been so blown away by your response to this book. It's sold out all over the place, although thank God it's finally back in stores.
Yes.
But we've just been amazed at seeing your pictures on Instagram of the recipes you've tried and telling us on Facebook how much you like it. You can't believe how long it takes to work on a cookbook and then to get your amazing feedback. It's incredible.
In other words, we love you.
We love you.
But in case if you own the book, you may not know there's some things in there that actually are going to make your life easier. We're not just really delicious, fast and easy, healthy recipes. We also have a lot of strategies in the book and some extra little layer of stuff that you may not recognize unless you tune in and hear us talking about it now.
Exactly. And if you haven't bought the book, we just sort of wanted to give you a sense of everything that's in here that isn't in a typical cookbook, that we kind of made the weirdest cookbook ever created. And
luckily our friends here were like, okay, you want to put leftovers in a cookbook, whatever. So we do have some stuff in here that you might want to know about.
And that you wouldn't expect to see in a cookbook, so we thought we'd just give you the highlights, and we thought we'd go through our top non-recipe highlights in this book that you maybe wouldn't know were there.
Okay, so first we'll start with the strategies, which if you own the book, you know that this book really leans on strategies. It's not just recipes, it's strategies to help your family feed and get meals on the table quicker and easier. And so some of our strategies is meal planning. We go through meal planning and we actually teach you soup to nuts how to meal plan. And I know it sounds unsexy and no one really likes the notion of meal planning, but it's the gospel, people.
But we broke it down in a way that we think you can really use it. I think sometimes it can be daunting. We did it week by week. We actually give you a sample meal plan so you can give it a try without having to do really any effort yourself.
But before that, we had done a pantry section. And really what we want to do is teach you how to create a pantry that supports every effort you make in the kitchen. Because Lord knows when you're in there, you want to maximize your time and you don't want to be in there too long. And so we want to help you create a pantry that supports you and helps you orchestrate meals quicker and faster.
If we didn't say this before, ask questions as we're talking, because, you know, it'll be us blah, blah, blah. But we want to hear from you and know, like, what are your challenges during the school year? And then at the end, we'll answer a whole bunch of them. So start sending your questions.
Yeah, leave your questions in the comments.
Oh, that's
the boss.
The wonderful boss,
talking.
Michelle, who's helping us do this. Yes, leave your questions, and we will answer them once we're finished going through the book.
And food-related questions. I mean, we can't help you figure out how to get your kids to clean their bedroom because we can't even get our own.
But if you've got tips for us,
give them to us. Leave comments that tell us how to get our kids to clean their room. For the breakfast section, we start off, the strategy for that is how to make a brainy breakfast. You want kids to go to school ready for learning, being able to deal with what's asked of them in the morning, like be quiet, don't talk, sit down, sit still, listen, go play. We want your kids to be set up for success, and so we go through how to create a breakfast that's going to fuel them for the day.
And we worked with the nutritionist because, you know, we have a pretty good handle on what we should be feeding kids, but we wanted to just make sure that we were giving rock solid information. So we actually put the whole book in front of a nutritionist and said, like, is this the right information? And she gave us a lot of feedback and how to amp up things here and there, and you know what were really the right combination of nutrients to fire kids for learning. And so that's what you're going to find.
And then in terms of the lunch section, our strategy for lunch was how to be a lunch ninja, because I don't know if you guys realize this lady here, she's a lunch ninja, self-professed lunch ninja.
But I'm not greedy. I'm happy to share my wisdom, and it's
a little greedy sometimes.
Well, but not with that. It's in the book, and I'm going to show you how to do it quickly, because I think packing lunches can be what grinds parents down like nothing else. And so I've really baked down all my wisdom into, I don't know, like 5 or 6 points that will really change the way lunches go to school.
You're a doll. We love you. And then our next strategy is how to feel an active kid. I don't know about you guys, but once your kids get into school and they start getting involved in sports, the schedule goes...
It's crazy
to the power of 10. And you need kids to have enough nutrition with them for the day to keep them powered. And again, our dietitian was essential in helping us create this section because we want to make sure your children have the nutrients they need to get through their active days.
But it's also about like, how do you figure out how to get dinner ready, you know, as well as that school lunch and a snack when you're going from school to a soccer practice to a hockey game. You know, it's also just sort of the time management of it too that can really break parents, and we hear that all the time from you guys, that it's a challenge. So we're always thinking of those strategies for you.
Yeah, and we give you, and we also give you a time where you can work in a cry, because
Yes.
sometimes you need to work in a cry. Just have feet, get a snack, work in a cry, drive them.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Okay,
The
dinner
main thing.
section.
Keep going. Don't stop.
Don't stop the bus. Dinner section, meal planning.
No,
Not
we
meal
did that.
planning. No,
Meal prepping.
Meal prepping. This is something Carrie speaks the gospel of as well, and she turned me onto it, and now I can't go back. Batch cooking. People, you need to batch cook, and we teach you how to do it.
It's all in there. You're gonna just spend
You're
gonna spend a little time on the weekends or whenever it suits you, getting ahead for the week, and we teach you how to do that in a way that reduces your stress during the week, because that's critical. We're always looking for ways to reduce
Very
stress.
critical.
Right.
Okay, at the end of the dinner section is leftover makeovers. Yep, that's right. We put leftovers in a cookbook, people, because we're crazy like that. And we're going to teach you how to maximize your leftovers and turn them into brand spanking new dishes that your family won't recognize.
Exactly.
Because what did the kids say?
We had this last night.
If your kids aren't there yet, guess what, people, it's coming, because our children are there and they go, oh, that again? And you're like, yeah, that again, people.
This way, these leftovers, they won't even know that it's that again.
And not only do we have 4 tried and true recipes, and we teach you how to measure out your proteins and your vegetables and stuff and get them into brand spanking new dishes, we also have additional content on our YouTube channel where you can see more videos with more recipes.
Actually, so many different ideas, because we just can't stop telling you what to do.
We can't stop using
we're so addicted to telling people what to do.
And guess where that came from? Bossy Pants over
We
here.
had to start a YouTube channel.
Snacks and desserts. I wasn't going to have a dessert section. She made me have it. Obviously, I was clearly not thinking straight.
Because she hadn't had a snack.
Right.
Right. You needed a snack.
Low blood sugar.
Exactly.
Okay, our snack section teaches you how to smart your snacks, meaning you want to go after and fill in nutritional holes that maybe your kids haven't hit during the day, and so maximize every opportunity.
But you also need a couple treats, because who can get through the
Because who
week
wants
or the
to
day?
live without a blueberry grunt? I mean, really. Okay, there's also
So
other
those are the
things.
main strategies in the book, but then that wasn't enough. We were like, what else can we do to make people's life easier? And so we came up with a very cool package of mixes. This is basically the kind of thing that you might buy in the store: pancake mix, muffin mix, biscuit mix, but you're going to make it homemade for yourself so that it's always there. It
In the
means
pantry.
Pancakes is like a scoop away in your cupboard.
Tell them what Michelle said. It's like fast food.
What did you say?
It's like homemade fast food.
It's homemade fast food. You got a pancake mix waiting for you.
Yeah.
You've got a muffin mix waiting for you. All you have to do is dump it into a bowl, measure out, dump it into a bowl, and add in what you want. Blueberries, strawberries, whatever, carrot. Make whatever muffin you want. We don't care.
We care a little.
We care, but what we're saying is you have these mixes. They create more than one serving. In other words, you'll have at least three batches that you can make from the one gigantic mix.
It just puts you that much closer to making something homemade, right? 'Cause sometimes we think, oh, I really feel like making pancakes today. If the mix is there in the cupboard,
sometimes we don't feel like making
the answer is more likely to be yes than if you had to start at the very beginning, even though it's really just a little bit of work to put it together.
Absolutely.
And then the other thing that we did, which we're so proud of, is we really
think we're so smart about this
we
one.
think we're pretty smart. We thought about serving sizes and coming back to that idea of leftovers. We really wanted to guarantee that you always had leftovers, because we want dinners to become lunches so that you don't get stuck in that sandwich rut when it comes to a school lunch. So we wanted to make almost every dinner in this book yield 6 or 8 rather than the typical 4, so that you're guaranteed to have leftovers. I feel like now we need to have music going for that tip, because it's really,
and a round of applause.
It's really, yeah. It's really, we think it's pretty great, and people really do notice a difference once they start cooking that way. That to automatically have the leftovers and to be able to put them into a school lunch the next day, you're so much further ahead.
Yeah, these are our soups from the soup section. All of these soups yield 6 servings, so you're guaranteed soup for a thermos the next day for your kids, or even for yourself.
For you too.
Right?
Don't forget yourself.
And it's also why our lunch section in the book, you might get the book and be like, School Year Survival. Oh, why isn't the lunch section this big? Because lunch is killer. So it's because we want you using your dinners. We want you to have less time in the kitchen and have leftovers and warm them in the morning and send them to school and wave goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah.
And pray they get eaten.
So
right?
the slow cooker ragu, what does that yield? 8.
8. God bless 8.
And it's so good.
Okay, another thing that we do is...
Another thing we did for you.
because we're nice like that.
Not that we're keeping track.
is we created...
Went the wrong way.
We created a section known as the Transformers. And these guys are basically proteins that, again, create lots of leftovers. But because if you're anything like us, you don't necessarily know what to do with a leftover. So we've given you 2 additional meals. So you'll have your leftover, and then you have the option of 2 meals to pick from that you could take those leftovers and round them into another dish.
Different.
And we had to give you 2 choices because we're indecisive. So if you're anything like us, you
don't know what you're going to feel like.
Right. You may not feel like a quesadilla.
And you might make it the next day, or maybe you get that,
Fingers in the way.
So what happens is you make your protein, and let's do this one. This pulled pork, which is insanely good. Laura spent
forever
months
testing
tweaking it. So it makes a ton of pork. So the first night, maybe you're going to have these delicious sliders. Maybe the next night you're going to have quesadilla, but maybe not. Maybe you're just going to take the leftover and put it in the freezer and have it next week. You don't have to do it the next day. There's lots of options.
Or you could do a grain bowl.
Or you could do a grain bowl.
So every
pizza.
dish has 2 extra additional recipes,
and
you can roll out.
You can do it the next day, or you can do it, put it in the freezer, and then you're set for maybe a day that's particularly challenging. And that's something we always talk about. Like, think about how to help yourself. If you have a day that just is gnarly, that's the day you want to have something in the freezer ready to help you.
Again, batch cooking.
Yeah.
Another thing, and again, this is like one we just can't
stop.
It's like Christmas over here.
Yeah, exactly. You get a car. And you get a
oh my God, are we Oprah?
Yes.
You
get leftovers.
You get leftovers. The next thing we did is something really fun. We loved doing this, and now I use the cookbook for this reason especially. It's called Get Ahead. And what we did is we did a very untraditional thing. So when you read a recipe and you see the total time and it says an hour, and you think, gosh, I really want to eat that, but I'm not going to have an hour. Our Get Ahead section, what it does for you is it breaks down the steps in that recipe. So it will say, hey, if you want to knock 15 minutes off your, hey you who has no time to cook, if you want to knock 15 minutes off your cooking time to get at this dinner quicker, do steps 1, 2, and 3 earlier.
So another time.
So maybe you're prepping vegetables on the weekend, maybe you're pre-cutting something, maybe you're just boiling rice and putting it in a container and popping it in the refrigerator, so when you go to make that dish, the rice is already done, so you're halfway to dinner.
Yep.
And so if not only are you halfway to dinner, but you can get there quicker.
Halfway and quicker. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Did I not drink enough coffee this morning?
No, that makes sense. And so we'd love to hear any questions, any challenges you're facing. We know it's like halfway through this term.
Yeah.
You know,
you might already have lunch fatigue.
Yes, exactly.
You might not want to make another sandwich, but you're not sure what to make instead of the sandwich.
You might need to sort of feel like that reboot feeling. We just got through Halloween. It's like another little while until the holidays.
We're on a candy high here.
Oh my goodness, are we ever? Let us know, you know, if you have questions about the book or just about like handling the school year. What are your challenges?
So everybody please leave questions in the comments if you have any, but maybe to kind of kick us off, I'd love if Laura and Carrie could share kind of what's the recipe or technique that you guys turn to the most in your house. What's kind of your go-to, and maybe you probably have different ones.
We do, and we know each other's.
I'm gonna say for me, it's batch cooking for sure. I almost always every Sunday cook at least 2 things, and it has to be not what we're eating for dinner that night, obviously, because then that doesn't count.
It doesn't even have to be a dinner. It could be like a snack.
Yeah.
Kind of just having muffins laying around is super helpful for breakfast. You know, you give the kid a muffin.
Well, I'm going to show you one of the things I make a lot on the weekends. I usually make one dinner.
I bet it's going to be one of her recipes.
That isn't true. I make these broccoli and cheese patties a lot because my kids like them. They're delicious, they're easy, they're fast, and I have them in the fridge. And then
they're not a sandwich.
And you just grab them and load up a lunchbox with them. So I'll make a dinner. You know,
those make a great dinner side.
Yeah,
I know you use them for lunches, but I often find that the sides of a dinner almost take me more bandwidth and time in the kitchen than the actual like main event. And so I actually like to have sides waiting for me. And that's a great side with your dinner.
Absolutely.
So that's something I do every week, and usually on a Sunday.
I always use my slow cooker. If I could marry my slow cooker, I would. And I oftentimes will make breakfast or dinner in it. The slow cooker is the thing, is my go-to.
What do you make in the slow cooker? Because a lot of people have slow cookers and don't know what to put in.
I had mine for years before I used it.
I am that person.
Yes.
So what do you put in the slow cooker?
I make chili. Like I just made chili the other day so that we would have leftovers for last night for Halloween, because it's a mad dash to always like redo the makeup from school and get out of the house. I do chilies. I do breakfast. I do slow cooker oats in there. I do a breakfast rice pudding that we have that lives on Sweet Potato Chronicles in there. I make desserts. I make ragouts so that you can put them over pasta. A ragout is a great thing. There's one in the book, because you can put that on top of polenta. You can use it with pasta. You can even make a pasta bake with it. Just mix it into cooked pasta.
And other vegetables.
Add a bunch of cheese and bake the thing off. So having something like that lying around is really helpful.
I like the way you talk about food lying around.
Muffins.
It's
just lying around.
In her living room. You might come across some ragu muffins.
That'd be great if my living room had ragu in it.
So Michelle left a comment saying that she just ate a muffin for breakfast.
Oh,
Michelle, what kind of muffin did you eat for breakfast? Let us know.
Yeah.
So another question, and feel free, Michelle and others, to leave questions.
I wish I ate a muffin with Michelle. I had the lamest breakfast. I think it was candy corn.
I had cold pizza from last night.
Nice.
Oh my God.
We are living the dream.
Oh my God. You're in college still. Cold pizza from last night.
For breakfast is the best.
So strange. And she runs a healthy food blog.
Reality.
Balance.
Yeah.
So how do you guys normally deal with picky eaters?
Oh, that's a great question.
And we get asked, I think this is the number one question that we get asked. And we say that for most people, you know, there are people who have kids who really have issues that are super serious, and I feel for those people. But for most of us, that's not what's going on. And what I say is stop saying picky. Stop using the P word, because when you call a kid picky, talk about them as picky within their earshot, you really give them a role to settle into. And then
you can see it. You see them. Well, I'm not going to eat that because I'm a picky eater.
You told me I was picky. I'm not going to try that, something new. Just try not to draw too much attention to it. I know it's super frustrating.
It's so frustrating because you know what? You worked really hard to make that meal. And you raced home and you got the food out in the morning to defrost it. And it's, quite frankly, soul crushing. But you have to try not to take it personally. You You have to look away. It's like the sun. Look away.
Don't look at it.
Don't address it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't give the power to the children and have a really relaxed attitude and just say you've got to try it and
try one bite. I think it's fair to say try one bite. I think don't try too many new. If you have a kid who is giving you a hard time in this area, don't try too many new things at once. Make sure that there's something on the plate
that they recognize and enjoy,
that they like, so that you don't have to feel like, oh man, now they're not eating anything.
Yeah,
I got to start again.
Yeah.
If it's just one new vegetable, then there's other things on the plate that they like. And what we try to say to our kids is, never mind the pickiness. Focus on the manners. They don't have to like something, but what they shouldn't be allowed to do, in our humble opinions, is to be rude about it.
Yucky.
This is gross. This is yucky. I hate it. They can. Our friend Corrine
taught us the best line ever
that her kids were taught, which was not my favorite. That's not my favorite.
No, thank you. That's not my favorite. Our children do it.
And that's fair.
And you want to think about that too, because when your children get to our kids' age, if you have younger children, they're going to be eating their meals perhaps in someone else's house. And you don't want them to, or you don't really want them to go, that's gross. That's yucky.
Or making faces. So I think focus on, when we don't like things, here's how we let people know, because it hurts the cook's feelings. And also, get it. Okay, we obviously have a lot to say about this.
We do. Really
if
go
you get
all
them
day
in the kitchen with you, whenever that works for you, they're more likely to eat the food that they prepared, but also they're going to get an appreciation for the effort behind it, so that they're going to be less likely to be snarky about meals. So,
and also, if you do the meal planning thing, which we talk about in the book, it's a great way for them to be able to understand and anticipate what's coming for them. So they know what's coming on the dinner table. It's not just this plate of food that arrives magically, that they don't know how long it took you to make. And so they'll have an appreciation. Another thing is, remember how you couldn't get them to sleep through the night? You thought, oh my God, this is never going to happen. They're never going to sleep. It's a phase. Pickiness, thankfully, is one of those phases that if you can just give yourself a break, take the pressure off, don't stress the small stuff. As long as they're eating something, that they're going to get good nutrition.
And just keep offering things. Just keep putting it in front of them. Like, I always say this with my family with salads. I love salads. And my kids were not interested for
they're good now.
Literally years, but now we have a salad on the table almost at every meal, and everyone has
It's soup your people won't eat.
I know.
Oh, so strange.
Who
doesn't eat soup?
That is the heartbreak of my life.
But don't be hard on yourself if you have a picky eater. You're trying really hard and you're doing well, and it's just a phase.
I feel like we could do a whole Facebook Live on picky eaters.
On picky eaters. And we could take question after question on this.
Maybe that'll be the next
Which is what we do when we talk to mothers groups. That's a lot of what we kind of field, those questions.
So Gobi has a question.
Hi, Gobi.
Is it bad to have a one-color lunch, i.e. all white or white and orange? Not that I ever make lunches that look like that, of course.
Okay, Gobi, you're hilarious. I love you. You know the answer. And I also know that there's no way that your lunches aren't. I just have a feeling that they're gorgeous, because I know you. Yes, it is bad. I'm just going to say it. I mean, obviously, if once in a while that happens, we're not in the business of food shaming at all. I think that's horrible.
Well, no.
But it's also, I do think it's one of the reasons that I particularly am drawn to bento box style lunches, because it kind of allows you to see, what you're packing, so you can go, okay,
I need a vegetable, I need a fruit.
I need a color here. I need something other than bread or pasta. Yeah, you can see, like, okay, I need something red or green. Once kids get older, bento boxes aren't always the most practical, but it can be a really great way of seeing what
we actually address that in the book, kind of like the age appropriateness of different vessels that you should pack lunch in. But it's true, even for myself, sometimes when I'm packing my daughter's lunch, just the bento style, just having those spaces there reminds me, I have to fill that with something, and it reminds me to grab something else, right? Because you're so time pressed when you're doing those chores anyway, that to have kind of just that empty space and staring at you, mocking you.
But Gobi, I want to know, what would be an all orange lunch?
All orange?
What would that be? A tangerine?
Craft dinner?
a tangerine, an orange pepper,
You're a good soul. You're thinking
and
all
KD.
cafe. Yeah, KD.
It could be Annie's.
It
Could be organic.
It could be whatever you want it to be. Orange. It could be a big old pumpkin right there.
That's funny.
All right. So Erin says hi.
Hi, Erin.
And I think Gobi has listed oranges, carrots, and grilled cheese.
Ha. She didn't pat KD.
No.
Good for you.
Oranges? What else? Oranges?
Okay,
Carrots? No.
I take it back. That's a good lunch.
That's a great lunch. You're doing a really good job.
Thanks for writing, Gobi.
Thanks so much, guys. And is there anything you want to leave us out with today?
Oh, you want Carrie to sing us out? Sing us out. I've always wanted to say that.
Oh my God, I wish I could sing you the song. My son was making up his own Ghostbusters, you know. Da-na-na-na, who you gonna call?
Oh,
and
he was? Julian?
And he was making up his own.
Next time we'll bring our children and have them sing us out.
Thank you for joining us for our very first Facebook Live. We hope we did okay.
And
We'll
we
do it
just
again.
want to say, every time you get in the kitchen, you're awesome. So
Yes.
props to all the parents out there for doing the best they can every single day for their families.
And we'll see you next time. See you.